A man was killed in an officer-involved shooting in South Salt Lake.
It happened last night in South Salt Lake near 2100 South and State Street. And we're hearing from the victim's family today. Fox 13's Scott McCain joins us live from South Salt Lake with more on this. Scott, what are the victim's family, what are they saying?
Yeah, good morning, guys. We can now tell you the victim's name. 20-year-old Dylan Taylor is the man who was shot and killed by Salt Lake City police officers last night over here in the parking lot of the 7-Eleven behind me. Now, at the time of all of this last night, he was with two other young men, one of whom was his brother, the other was his cousin. Now, all three of them were coming out of the 7-Eleven about 7 o'clock last night. Shortly before that, Salt Lake police had received a call of a man waving a gun in this general vicinity. So cops arrived on the scene. They started cruising the area looking for what was going on. As these three young men were coming out of the 7-Eleven, they believed they saw a man matching the description of the man supposedly armed with a handgun. As these three left the store, they were surrounded by officers who had their guns drawn. At that point, they asked all three of them to show their hands. Two of the young men complied. Dylan, apparently listening to music on his headphones, did not clearly hear the officer's commands, according to the other two, and kept on walking. Shortly after that, shots rang out.
He had his headphones in, and next thing you know, he realized, no, they're here for me. You know what I'm saying? They're here for us, and we didn't do nothing wrong. And he was like, all right, and pull up his pants, and they shot him.
I seen him go to pull his pants up, but he didn't go for anything else. And the next thing I know, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I look over because no one did anything. I look over and I see them start. I just hear gunshots and I see him get shot, and then I start screaming.
Dylan Taylor was pronounced dead a short time later. The other two individuals were taken into police custody and questioned throughout the evening at the South Salt Lake City Police Headquarters. Now, again, as you mentioned earlier, we had heard that 3 officers were on paid administrative leave. We're not sure exactly how many officers fired shots or how many shots were fired, but again, it appears at least one of those officers was responsible for the shooting, and at least one of them is now on paid administrative leave. And again, they're officers with the Salt Lake City Department, but since this shooting happened in the grid of South Salt Lake City, they are now the main investigative agency in this case. And again, the two folks that were with Dylan say that all he was doing was going to lift up his pants. Apparently there was no weapon found. We have not had that confirmation yet from police, but these young men say there were no guns at all on them. For now, we're live in South Salt Lake City. Scott McCain, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Okay, thanks, Scott.